Limpopo SAPS proposes festive season alcohol curfew. Limpopo police are calling for an alcohol curfew during the festive season, proposing that liquor outlets close at midnight. Deputy Provincial Police Commissioner, Major General Jan Scheepers, also emphasizes the need for strict enforcement of noise regulations at these establishments. The proposal aims to ensure public safety and reduce incidents linked to alcohol abuse.
So could a curfew make a comeback in Limpopo? According to the Citizen newspaper, the South African Police Service in the province has proposed reinstating an alcohol curfew. The Deputy Provincial Police Commissioner, Major General Scheepers, suggested the measure during a Limpopo Liquors Affairs stakeholders engagement session, citing the alarming statistics ahead of the festive season. Joining us now to discuss this proposal and its potential impact is the Deputy Provincial Police Commissioner himself, Major General Jan Scheepers. Major General, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us this morning. So there was that curfew that was instituted last year in Limpopo. Can you speak to us about the impact that curfew had on crime prevention in the province? Of course, later on it was lifted by the High Court, but what was its impact? Hi, Major General, if you can hear me. I'm asking you about last year's curfew that was instituted in the province, later, of course, lifted by the High Court. But what was the impact of that midnight curfew when it comes to the sale of alcohol, when it comes to crime prevention?
Good morning to yourself and all your listeners. I think it's very clear that, and we all know, that liquor is one of the major contributing factors to crime. And we've seen last year during the curfew when we forced liquor outlets to close earlier, we saved a lot of lives, and also we could see that crime was decreasing during that time.
Yeah, and speak to us just quickly, Major General, before we go back to this proposal again, what that link that has been established between alcohol as well as crime. What's the link?
I think we must be clear. It's not alcohol on itself that's the problem. It is the way people behave when they use alcohol. If people can be drinking responsible and taking responsibility for themselves, as well as the family members and their friends, I foresee that we can have a festive season where everybody can enjoy. I am concerned, and we've seen a trend in this province that comes December, comes January, we're having a lot of funerals because people are not drinking responsibility. But that responsibility starts with me and you. But there's also a responsibility on the liquor outlets, those who are selling, to make sure that they put all measures in place to prevent these crimes from happening at their premises.
Yeah. So what's your proposal as law enforcement? What is it that you'd like to see?
We had a meeting with all the liquor stakeholders when we had a engagement on the amendment of the Limpopo liquor regulations, and we proposed the following, and let me just go there. We said we must adjust the closing times. We want the closing times specifically during the festive season to be earlier. Instead of 4 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning, we want it to be at midnight. We are also saying noise regulation at these premises. I was asking the question when I delivered my speech to the people in the meeting to say we need to strike a balance to create a better future for all of us in this country. And that balance must be between making money on the one hand and also education on the other hand. We find a lot of complaints where currently our matrics are complaining that they do not have enough time to study, and when they do have time, there's a lot of noise that's disturbing them. They cannot focus. So we were asking that we also regulate that. We also asked that we have community engagement. Communities must take responsibility for what happens in the area and what is the effect of this liquor outlets on the area in terms of crime. And then we also requested that we look at support for victims, specifically those victims of gender-based violence, those victims that were assaulted at the liquor outlets. So we need more support for those victims as well.
Yeah. And you make the point about the balancing on one end, the economic benefits that comes with the sale of alcohol, but also on the other end, the health impact that it has and also the contribution to crime. But how will you be able to convince, of course, there is the proposal the lawmakers want, but also the stakeholders in the industry themselves who had taken the government to court before over this particular curfew?
We do understand and we are supporting that this province grows economically, and we know that some people, the only livelihood is by selling liquor. What we don't want to close them down. We are just asking, let us deal with this together. Let us see what is the impact. Let us see what influence we have. And if we are all taking responsibility, we can create an environment where people can enjoy the liquor. There's many people that enjoys the liquor responsibly. If we all take responsibility for people, for ourselves, for our customers, for our neighbors in the area, if we do it responsibly, I think we can move a lot towards, or much quicker, towards a better and a safer environment for everybody in this province.
What about law enforcement themselves, who are supposed to be enforcing the law? Whether we speak about stopping the sale of alcohol at around 2 a.m. as it currently stands, sometimes those outlets operate beyond the 2 a.m. deadline. So even if you do put in a curfew, we might just find that some outlets are going to continue selling alcohol beyond the midnight deadline if government says that, sure, let's go ahead with this.
As law enforcement in this province, we have promised our communities that we will make sure they are safe and they are secure wherever they are, and they can enjoy a peaceful festive season. So there's no question, when we do our patrols or when we get information about those outlets, obviously we will act, and we will act without mercy. We will close down those outlets. If people are not willing to come to the party and let us all take responsibility, we will deal with them decisively. There's a law in this country and in this province, and we will make sure that we'll enforce the law to the letter of it in the whole of our province.
Yeah, it's just a couple of weeks now, maybe 2-3 weeks until we are slap bang right in the middle of the festive season. Has there been any response from government with regards to your proposal?
We did not have a response as yet from the engagement itself. It was only proposals that we made. So I think those proposals will come to effect later on, and then we will see what is the response. But irrespective of the response, from law enforcement side, our stance is very clear. Whatever the laws, we will enforce it. If anybody thinks he or she cannot comply to the law, we will deal with that person as such.
Okay. Major General, just another issue that I quickly want to deal with, and this is in relation to, we have Operation Valumkoti dealing with illegal mine workers or illegal mining taking place. Limpopo, one of those provinces that has also been affected by illegal mining. What's the situation like currently in the province, and what strategy are you employing there?
We do have the Valumkoti teams. They are employed in all the districts in the province. Currently, we are doing quite well. There's, on a daily basis, we're making arrests and we confiscate this illegal mining equipment. But it remains a challenge, unfortunately. So we intensified our operations. We've also got our detectives on board, our crime intelligence. So those efforts will continue even through the festive season, that we make sure that we clamp down on illegal mining. A lot of those areas were already closed, but we still do have areas where it's continuing, but we are dealing with it.
Yeah. Is your strategy in the northwest also to blockade some of those shafts?
I think it's a little bit different here in Limpopo. If you look at the crow mining, it's more open cast mining. So there's not a lot of miners in our area that goes into those mining tunnels or old mines. The majority of them is open cast. So that's what we're dealing with in this province.
Okay. And then just a final one. Have you been able, as the province, to get to the bottom of who the masterminds are, who the kingpins are of this illegal mining?
Yes, but that case is still under, or those cases are still under investigation. Let me not talk too much about those investigations currently. But yes, from our detectives, from our DPCI, from our organized crime, we are busy following up on that information as well.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. Major General Jan Scheepers there, the Deputy Police Commissioner in Limpopo, speaking to us about a proposal that they're making for a curfew to be introduced this festive season at midnight for